Alright, so our next step for putting the high tunnel up is we need to put our baseboards in. So these are 2x8 ground contact treated boards, and as you can see, I think, well, maybe you can't quite tell, but these go on the outside of the length of the high tunnel. And so this is another thing where the instructions didn't quite exactly tell me how they wanted this done. They gave me half of it, but not the other half. And that is, so for the ends, which this is the end one right here, all you do is we use one carriage bolt that will drill a hole through the board. It'll come through there, it'll come through our upright, and then we just put a nut on the end. That's all we do for the four corners. But for all the middle ones, we put the same bolt through our pre-drilled holes, and as you can see, we kind of got to dig out a little bit more through here. We put a bolt through, but we also put one of these guys on here as well. And so that goes over our post and then gets screwed into the board. It seems a little overkill to me to have both a carriage bolt and this, but that's what they call for. Now the thing that they don't tell me is how high this goes. So where am I supposed to be drilling the hole, you know, up and down on this board for putting this in? So obviously I can't have this in the same spot that this is at, so these have to be offset a little bit. So this either has to go above or below where the carriage bolt is going to go, and it makes sense to kind of have them spaced somewhat evenly apart, I guess, so that it's getting as much holding power out of it as it can. And so what I kind of decided I'm going to do is, I think I would rather have this a little bit lower down than higher up. And so what I'll do is I'll have the carriage bolt on top and this one underneath. So the top of the board will be probably somewhere around in here. Our bolt's going to go through, like, well, it'll come through from the opposite direction, but it'll be around in there. And then this will be down in that area. Hopefully that's okay. It doesn't really specify one way or the other, so we're just going to go with this one. Alrighty, we got our first piece in place here, and so the boards I bought were actually 16 foot, but because we of course got to join them, the best way to do that is to cut them so that the break, the end of the board is in the middle of between two bows, and then you can cut shorter pieces to connect onto the two ends to hook them together so you've got a nice strong joint. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a 16 foot and cutting it down into a 6 foot and a 10 foot piece. That way we have these joints in between each of the arches all the way down through here. So from this point all the way down until we get about 10 feet from the end, we can just grab 16 footers and put them in through here and start filling along through the edge. Alrighty, so we got all of the boards up along on that side, all of our baseboard on. So today we're just moving right over to this side. We're going to start getting them on over here. And then once we get all the boards connected on here, we still got to go through and put on our short pieces where the two ends of each of these sections butt up to each other. Get a section screwed on there, and then put all of the little straps that go around the pipe and screw into the boards. We'll do all that stuff all at once we get this side done. So I've got a bit of a system here that seems to be working reasonably well for getting these things put up. So first off, I get my next baseboard lined up pretty much with the end of the last one that went up. And then I'm drilling my holes at 2.5 inches from the top of the board. So I've just got my square set up here, and I lined that up with my ground anchor. And I just put a little line right there and work my way down the whole board. So for this one, the ground's a little bit low along through here to have it so that our mark that I just put on here is lining up with our hole. So I put a couple rocks down there just to hold that up a little bit so that it's fairly level from end to end across this board. And now what I can do is I can just stick the drill right through the hole here, and that keeps it fairly level. I can make sure that the board is pushing right up against that one. I can line the drill bit up with that mark that we put on there. Just run that right through just like that. Now, grab our carriage bolt, put that in there. Run that through like that. Get that through the rest of the way. Pop a nut on this side so it doesn't come off. And now we can just drill out the rest of our holes. That's all there is to it. So with our baseboards in place, we're gonna grab our one remaining 2x8. We're gonna cut this thing down into 12 equal size pieces, and then we can take that and use that to overlap on all of our joints along the baseboard. Alrighty, so the next step that we need to do is take one of these straps and put these on each one of the posts along there. It'll get screwed into the baseboard, 2 screws in each one, and just the line posts, so not the corner ones, but I think there's 23 on each side, something like that, so 46 of them that we need to get screwed on here. And hopefully there's enough screws in this box because it looks kind of small for the number that we need to do. Alrighty folks, well we are going to cut this one here for today. Next time we are going to be working on the wiggle wire track, which runs the length of the high tunnel here, and also I think getting the wind braces in that go in the corners as well. So that's going to be it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.